He takes me to places that I didn't imagine. And then when you read a book 3 or 4 away from the first one, the way he reuses characters and reuses information, we go back to the same place. I wish there were more films that, whether animated or live action, that could capture what he does. Because some of them that I've seen, a couple that I've seen, don't totally work for me. But yeah, Pratchett is, he's brilliant. I just love his stuff. And I just wish him well. God bless him.
Hi, Paul.
Where are you? Where am I looking? Hi!
Hi, Paul. Is Roy Campbell going to be in the next Metal Gear Solid Rising game?
Listen, usually we have to sign things saying you can't talk about this, or you can't, you will not disclose all those things. I have no idea. In Rising, no, I haven't heard. Now there is talk of bringing Solid Snake back in the future, and my hope is that they would bring Campbell back. I've heard nothing. I got my fingers crossed though. It'd be fun. I loved it. I love that character. So spread the word. Say yes. Get on those fan page. Say bring Campbell and the Snake back. Sorry.
Hi. You okay?
I'm good.
Yeah, good. In your career, what would be your favourite line you've ever said?
Favorite line? Oh, gosh. Ooh. Oh, I know one of the silliest that I always quote, and I love it, from a show that almost no one saw, called the Toxic Crusaders. Oh, you are cartoon geeks, aren't you? For those of you who are the uninitiated, it was done by Troma, the Troma people, who are all insane. And I played a character that was, let me get this right, he was a test pilot who flew through a hole in the ozone, crashed into a vat of radioactive pepper. My character was called No Zone. And No Zone had one leg that was fused to a wheel of the airplane, and he had an incredibly huge nose. And my power was sneezing. When I sneezed, I could mow down an army. The forests would fall before me.
And No Zone talked like this. And yes, I had to look like this when I was doing it. And No Zone, at least twice in every episode, one of us had to say, "We are hideously deformed creatures of superhuman size and strength."
So at least me or Toxie or somebody had to say that. And that was the rule, at least twice in every episode. And I loved that show. It was a great cast and really a lot of fun. I wish I could remember the line that Grandpa Max said when he's about to sacrifice himself to save the universe. But man, that's a hard question. That's a good one. I'm going to have to think about that. And I will. Man, favorite line. Do you guys have any lines that things that I've...
We like when Perceptor blows up Devastator.
Say again?
There's a scene in one of the episodes of the cartoon series where Perceptor blows up Devastator.
Oh, that's right. Well, what does he say?
He doesn't say anything.
He just blows up Devastator.
It's the highlight of Carnage in C minor.
There we go. You're well done. Yeah, it's... I'm going to have to think about that. That's a good one.
Paul, just a quick question. You mentioned before, well, it wasn't mentioned before, I think you might have mentioned it on Friday night, and Dan Gilbert had mentioned it yesterday night. You guys having a tendency of stealing accents when you're around. Have you ever done that before? Have you ever heard the way somebody speaks?
Heard the way somebody speaks? Heard the way somebody speaks?
Yeah, sorry, I'm enjoying it. Yeah, because what I'm wondering...
You steal mine. Steal my accent.
Have you ever?
No, I want you to steal my accent right now.
Would I? Wait, I might not try what I like, you know. That's not you, by the way, but that's what people up north apparently talk like.
Anyway, say that's the way I sound, or not?
No. You sound much more refined and classy than I do.
I've got you fooled.
No, but I'm just wondering, have you ever heard somebody, I don't know, maybe on a bus or a train or something like that, you've heard the way somebody sounds, their speech pattern, and has that ever been the basis of a job or a gig that you've gotten?
Yes. It's also something that's gotten me in trouble. Truly. You know what I'm talking about? In Minnesota, when I was living in Minnesota? Well, my wife, we were living in Minnesota. This is not stealing an accent, but it's stealing a speech pattern and, okay. I went to a video store. This is a long time ago. There used to be VHS videos. And for you young kids. So I went to this video store to rent something. I don't know what it was. And I walked in, and the guy behind the counter said, "Hello, yes, can I help you?" Mm-hmm. And I said, "You certainly can." And he said, "Well, what can I do for you today? Would you like something, a video or something?" And I said, "Yes, I would." And then I realized that he wasn't putting anything on. That was how he spoke. And then what happened to me was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? If I stop doing it, he's going to think I'm making fun of him, which I wasn't. But if I keep going, then every time it's a new store that opened, every time I went in there, I'd have to talk like that. And it was difficult. But anyway, what I ended up doing was I dropped it. We never spoke of it. And he became a good friend, and I actually wrote some commercials for his company. But it was one of those embarrassing moments, you know, because we do that. You know, there are times when I go into different dialects. I was raised in a part of Ohio, of Cleveland, Ohio, was what was considered the ghetto. It was a changing neighborhood. My family was one of the last Caucasian families living in the neighborhood. My last year in high school, I lived there with my grandfather, and then so all of my friends, all my close friends, were African American, and until I was 18 years old.